Hi everyone, well I'm back again to show you how to make the hellebore to go in our Christmas arrangement. This is the second flower in the range, and these are some that I've made up earlier. So this is the hellebore, and I've done it with sort of a creamy coloured front, dark cream, and a dark coloured background. And as you can see, there's a little bit of colour on the edge, but I'll go through all that. The stamens in the centre I've made myself. Now then, I'm going to do that first. So basically what I do when I make stamens is I use cotton, because if you start using the ready-made stamens they can be very expensive, so it's a good idea to keep the cost down. We can't all afford to be spending loads and loads of money. I make my own pollen, which I don't know whether you can see this in here. I'll just put some into, I've got some in a cap here. I'll just pour that out there. And what this is, it's you can use either ground rice or semolina, which is very fine. And if you put that into a pill bottle or a little tub or something like that, put whatever colour you want your pollen to be in powder colour, mix in with that. You only need a small amount, give it a good shake, and you've got your pollen, which is basically the same as the commercially bought, but it's a hell of a lot cheaper. It's going to cost you pennies instead of pounds to make your pollen. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. So when I'm making stamens, I'm not going to do the whole lot for this because there's a lot of stamens in the centre of hellebore, and what I did was I got three flowers out of one lot of cotton. So what you do is, if you get it round, I did it round the whole of my hand to do three for the hellebore because they are quite long, the stamens in that. And I started off with white cotton. Now you must use cotton, not polyester thread, cotton. I found this on eBay. So you go around your fingers like that. I went round 100 times. I know it's a lot, but I'm not going to do it 100 times for you here because we're going to be here all morning. We're not going to get anything else done. So basically what you end up with is a loop, which what I've done is I've got three small pieces of thin wire, and then if you just wrap them round your cotton, basically get a piece of wire like that, wrap it round your cotton while it's in the loop so you can evenly space them out, and then just twist it on until it's really tight, like I've done with the one that's on here. So you'll end up with two, when you cut halfway in between each of your wires, which will give you your two lots, so you can bring them up like that together. So the best thing to do with that first of all is to make sure that the cotton is attached to your wire. So if you start off with your stem tex, start it off underneath the cotton, give it a twist to make sure that that's securely onto your wire. Then if you bring your cotton up like that and then bring your tape up to the base of your cotton like that, and then just go around. You have to spend a bit of time, it takes a little bit of fiddling because it's soft like that, and then come back down onto your wire. Make sure it's really tight like that, down to the base of the wires. So again, it's a 30 or 32 gauge wire for this, and then you'll end up with your cotton like that. So if you get something with a sharp edge, some tweezers or whatever else you've got, just comb through your wires. There's one that I've missed there, so I'm just going to cut that one off. Where's my scissors gone? I thought I've got all my tools all ready to use and I've lost my scissors. I use my big scissors. Oh, just seen them. Just take that off. Any bits you've got like that. I found my little scissors here. Right, so if you bring them all up, the tops are a bit uneven, so if you get in between your finger and your thumb, and it's a bit, if you've watched your hairdresser cutting your hair, it's the same sort of technique. Get it like that and then just cut straight across the top like that. Might be better using my bigger scissors. Just make sure I don't nip my finger like I did the other day. Try not to cut yourself, keep everything out of the way. Keep turning it round until you've got all your bits of cotton off the top, until you've got it fairly flat and even. Just go around. There's a good reason for this, because I'm going to colour this and I'm going to show you how to dye your cotton. This won't work with polyester, it's got to be cotton, because otherwise it won't soak up the colour. Now normally I would say don't buy liquid colours, because we don't really use them for anything. If you use them in your royal icing or anything like that, just get those bits out of the way, we don't want those. It spoils your royal icing. Well, you can put it in royal icing, but only in very small bits. But with sugar paste and flour paste and things like that, you can't use liquid colours, because they melt your sugar paste and make it all sticky and gooey. So I've separated the colours like that. So what I'm going to do now is, I've got another cap here that I've borrowed off of something, and I'm going to use some liquid colour here. The one I'm using here is Daffodil from Squire's Kitchen. If you can get if you're using Sugar Flare, the one from that one is that's Daffodil. It's Melon from Sugar Flare. It's the same colour. And basically what you do is get your stamens upside down, then just touch the liquid like that. Just put a little bit more in there. And you can see it's already starting to run down the cotton. As I say, with polyester this won't work. Like that. Just make sure you've got, try and get all your bits of cotton. If you miss a little bit, don't worry about it. And if you just leave that, that will run down your cotton, and what you will get is that effect, like that. So if you can see the difference, you see it's running down there on that side there. If you've got enough on, then need a little bit more on that side. There we are. And what you get is sort of like with some of them, you get a bit of a shaded effect. You get it a little bit darker at the top and then lighter at the bottom as it's run down. So you just pop that to one side and let it run down. The next stage, when this is dried, again, is to open out your stamens like that. And the quickest way to do this, and I'm going to have to go off camera to do this, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stiffen them up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some hairspray. The one I'm using is Silver Crin, and it's the maximum hold number 5. You want it to be really stiff because you want it to stay in place. So what you're going to do is spray all over it. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want it on my board. So I'm just going to take it off to one side and spray all over like that. Then get your pollen while it's still wet, and then just dip the ends of your pollen into your pollen like that. So you end up with all the pollen on the edge of your stamens. I've got another one here, I'll do that. So I've got another one here that I've already coloured. And for the arrangement, I'm going to do quite a few hellebores. I've got 43 made up, and I'm going to make one up with this demonstration. So just open it out like that. Over with your hairspray. Then straight into your pollen. Now what you can do is, you could, if you wanted to, let your stamens dry when you've done the hairspray, and then open it out again, and then just touch the edge with your edible glue, and then into your pollen if you want. Whichever way you want to do it. Everybody's got their own way of doing things, but I just thought it'd be a lot quicker to do it this way. Right, so next thing to do is to make your petals. Now, to make it easier for everybody, I have actually got a Hellebore cutter, but I'm going to use a largish rose petal cutter, and I have got a Hellebore veiner here. I think this one's an Alderval one, so I will have a word with Alderval, because I know them very well, and see if you can order them direct. But if you can't order them direct, you can buy them on eBay. There is a supplier on there that does sell Alderval veiner. So if you just put Alderval into your search bar, then all the veiners will come up, and they do the full range. So as far as I can see, and if there is one you want and they haven't got it on there, if you ask them, I'm sure that they would get it for you. So to do the petals, I'm going to use just white paste. I started off with white. It don't do it with all flowers, but I mean with some flowers like these, especially where you're using different colours on it, you could do it cream if you were going to do that one to start off with. But I just find it easy just to do it in white. So some white fat on your board. Roll your paste out. Now for quickness, I'm going to use my trusted ridged roller. Anybody in my area, Bradford area, and that, if you want one of those, if you want to have a go with them, I have got some in stock. I think they're about £6.50 of the ridge rolling pins, which is this one here. But if you haven't got that, if you've got the cell board, use the groove side of it and just cut a couple of petals out at a time. I do it this way because obviously when I'm doing a lot of flowers, I need to be able to do them fairly quickly, especially if you're doing them for somebody's wedding cake, because you haven't got time to cut them out one at a time. Right, so I've got my ridges there. So if I cut your petal out, get your ridge up the centre of your petal and cut out, you want 6 petals for this flower. There is another part in the Hellebore that I haven't included in with it to make it easier, because if people don't know about that part of the Hellebore, they won't notice you've left it out, which is the inner part. There's a green part that's done with a daisy cutter you can do inside the flower. But I'm not aiming to be too realistic. I want to do them quickly. I want to look like a Hellebore, but I don't want to spend loads and loads of time on it. So I'm going to get out a couple of 26 gauge wires. Generally most petals, as I've told you before in previous videos, if you haven't watched those, go back and watch them. And I'm going to cut these into 4. Mind your fingers, because I nicked my finger the other day doing this, so when I started doing my Blue Peter bit. For those of you that are not British and don't know what Blue Peter means, it's a children's programme where they did a lot of modelling and that using papier-mâché and things like that, and they always did their Blue Peter bit before they started so they could get on with it. Right, again on your finger, between your finger and your thumb, twist your wire into the bottom of the wire and go right up your ridge up to the top of your petal. I don't expect you to do it as quickly as me, but when you get used to doing it, you do get faster at these jobs, and you will be able to do quite a few in a go. If you've got your paste drying out as well, if you're not as quick as me, what you can do is, if you get yourself a flat sponge and a plastic bag, cut your petals out and then put that over your petals to stop them from drying out while you're working on each individual petal. Because I work at a fairly quick speed, I can do it before it even starts drying out. Not being big-headed, but that's just the way that I work. Make sure your wire don't come out. Again, if your wire comes out through your paste, just pull it back and go back in again, if you don't want it showing. That one feels a little bit thin. I don't know whether I'll get a wire in this one, but we'll see. No, it's come out as that one. I won't use that one. Right, so once you've done that, then the next step is to thin your edges as normal. So onto your pad. These are the best ones to get. This is an Orchard Products pad. Sorry, no, it isn't. It's Orchard Products do them, but this is a PME one. About $2.25, something like that, $2.50, depending on where you buy it from. And lost me. Where's my ball tool gone? Lost it. I'm doing well here, losing things, aren't I? Like I keep telling people, no matter how long you've been doing it, things go wrong. So probably under there somewhere. No, it's not. I should have another one in here somewhere. Just go make yourself a cup of tea while I'm doing this. Oh. Best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Thin round your edges. This is a different one to the one I usually use. The blue handled ones are a lot cheaper. If you check with your local sugarcraft shop and see if they have got them. If they haven't, you can buy them on eBay. They do have them on there. For those of you in Bradford, if you go to Tracy at Cakes to Please in Shipley, she stocks them. So, and if she hasn't got them, I'm sure she'll get them in for you. Right, so the edges are thinned. Just pop that to one side. Onto the veiner. Then you put your ridge side into the side with a little groove in there. If you haven't got one of these, don't worry about the veining. It's not very deep on it. But what I would say is, it is a good idea to give it a little bit of a pinch at the top there, just to give it a bit of shape. Then if you just bend it a little bit like that on your finger, then put that into your foam, your bubble foam that I've showed you before on the previous videos that I've done. I'll show you again in a minute when I've got all these petals on. I just want to, but don't forget to curve round the bottom of your base of your petals as well, because if you don't do that, when you come to put the whole thing together, it won't fit. So just looking at time. Nearly finished all the elements here, so what I'll have to do is when I finish this, I will switch my camera off and come back again for colouring and assembly. But I'm only going to do a couple of petals with that because I've already got a load of petals already for you. Oops, that's come off, so we'll do away with that one. That's no good. See, things do go wrong, no matter how long you've been doing it. I've been doing it over 30 years, so like I say, don't worry about it if things break or fall off the wires, or if you get your paste too thin or whatever it is that goes wrong. It can happen to anybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch off now and come back with colouring the petals and that. So see you in a mo.